Hello, and welcome. So we don't hop on the channel too much, but every once in a while something happens and we just absolutely must dig in. So something happened today, and it's something that, I have not seen a lot of. I do consider myself, I'm a pretty big football fan. I've been a fan of the NFL for roughly 20 or so years now, and somewhat of an NFL historian as well, I'd consider myself. And I had to dig deep to think about a time that I have seen something like this in the past play out the way that it did. So the big news today, Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Coen is he took an interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars, was a leading candidate to get the job. The Buccaneers said, no, please don't go, offered him a contract extension. Now, one of the things in that contract extension essentially said, listen, you get this contract extension, you get this raise if you don't go back for a second interview. Liam Coen said, sure thing, sounds good, no prob, don't worry about it. However, the contract was never officially signed, and because the contract was never officially signed, Liam Coen decided it'd be a really good idea to meet with the Jacksonville Jaguars in private so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be unaware. Yeah, he ghosted them. They tried to reach out to him, couldn't get in touch with him. He went and had a private meeting with Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the reason, at least speculation has been so far, that Liam Coen was so interested in the meeting is because the Jacksonville Jaguars fired their former GM, Trent Baalke, and that kind of accelerated the process of him, wanting to be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, for Liam Coen's perspective, this is a sleazy move. It's just a sleazy thing. Now, this is tough because it's easy for me to sit here. I've got no stake in this, right? It's not my family that I have to support. It's not my money. It's not my career. It's hard for me to sit here and say, hey, you shouldn't take the opportunity to better yourself or get an opportunity to advance your career or earn more money and all these things, right? I'm not trying to put my hands in someone else's pocket or affect someone else, or knock someone else's growth. But there is a right way and then there is a wrong way. And Liam Coen I don't know if he could have found a more wrong way, a more wrongful way to go about this. Because that's about as, if true, and these are, just reports, but if true, that's about as scandalous and as disrespectful as you could have been to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And really, that's not a good way to conduct business. It's just not. And you lose a lot of credibility. Like, to me, I understand you got to do what you got to do, and you need to do what's best for you. I get that. But again, you could have just been outright and honest from the jump and didn't need to be this whole murky thing. I mean, like, it just comes off as immature and untrustworthy. And I know a lot of people in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers community, Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans community, prior to, the season ending, everybody was like, Bowles should go, Liam Coen should get promoted to head coach. And then, especially when this started coming out, yeah, Bowles should go right now, Liam Coen should get promoted to head coach. And I was never someone who was in that camp, just not that I am the biggest Todd Bowles fan, not at all. However, I don't think Todd Bowles has done enough to merit him being fired, and I am a fan of fair. I think that being fair is important, and Todd Bowles, as an employee of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, has earned the right to coach at least one more season for the Red and Pewter. The issue, though, and what's hilarious to me, is for all the people who did think that way, Liam Coen's true colors really coming out there for all to see. And whether or not he does turn out to be a great coach or not, only time will tell. Not really the kind of guy you want to put your faith in. Now, Todd Bowles may be far from perfect, and he may be miles, and he just may be football fields and fields and fields away from perfect. But Todd Bowles is a loyal guy, by all accounts, a good man. Players love him. Everybody, in the building, a good person. What Liam Coen just did, that's as disrespectful and in poor practice of business. It's up there with, and again, I didn't do any research on this. It's just kind of my, off the dome things you know, it's up there with like Bill Belichick. When Bill Belichick resigned from the Jets, right? He quit, wrote it on the napkin. Josh McDaniels, right? If you guys remember, he like backed out of the head coaching job at Indianapolis a little while ago, but some years ago. At least in modern day NFL history, I can't think of examples that really match up perfectly. Those are both slightly different scenarios than what Liam Coen is involved in, but kind of right along the same lines when you talk about just kind of the scoundrel nature of it. And ultimately, it's a business, right? And I do understand that. I think we all have to. Liam Coen is, advancing his career in the way that I'm sure he always dreamed he would. It just may be through a different avenue than he thought that it would wind up being. But he is advancing his career. And I also got to give a moment, we'll give a little credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Whether or not Liam Coen turns out to be the head coach that, the Jacksonville Jaguars and a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans thought he can be or will be, I think credit has to be given. If you have a guy who you think is the guy, then you gotta do everything you can to get him. You gotta pull out all the stops, and you can't leave any stone unturned. So credit to the Jaguars. They thought they had a guy in Liam Coen who was the guy. They went ahead and got rid of the GM because they thought that's going to help us pull the trigger on this move. Even after they were turned down, they said, one more time, we got to reach out. We got to give this thing a shot. And I can't agree with I can't disagree with the Jacksonville Jaguars for trying. To me, it's more sketchy on Cohen's end because of the fact that he wasn't just honest about the situation. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, by all means, you got to do everything you can to try and get a good quality candidate in there. The Jaguars have been perennial losers almost my entire life. So, yeah, they have to do something. You need to turn the tides of your entire organization. So, I give him credit. Liam Coen, I think, really lost a lot of credibility over the last 24 hours. A shocking amount of credibility. But, of course, the ends will justify the means. If Liam Coen turns out to be a great head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars, nobody is going to bat an eye or even remember how the Jacksonville Jaguars obtained him. They're just going to be happy he's there. As for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yes, this means a new offensive coordinator for Todd Bowles, and the Bucs will have to, I guess, get on the grind with that, as they're going to be a little bit now slightly behind the eight ball, because I don't think that, anyone would have expected this. Feels like kind of a blindside, but I do think that the Bucs will, they'll rebound, they'll get moving. But just a crazy day for Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, because not something you see every day where a coach pulls the old-fashioned double cross and says, no, I'm not going to go there, I'll stay, but then reneges on staying and decides, yeah, you know what, I'm actually going to go there, deuces, and just straight ghosts you. That is so unprofessional, shocking, but gotta wrap it up there. Very excited to see where the Bucs go with the offensive coordinator, hiring process, and I am excited to see what Liam Coen does in Jacksonville, because boy, oh boy, you had better deliver, because that is, if you aren't good, you're going to lose a lot of credibility everywhere already anyway, because who can trust you now, right? Nobody. So you had better, since you bet on yourself and you made it me against the world, you have no allies, you better be good. You better deliver. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do with Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, wow. Craziness. Tampa Bay Buccaneers offseason. What a way to start it off.